Okay, guys, here we are. We are in week 4 of May, which is all about moms. So, for the love of mother, today is focused on women's health, specifically natural support for healthy hormones. Today and next week kind of go together, and it's really about the things we can do that we might not think of to help balance our hormones. So, signs of hormone imbalance. I want you guys to, if you're watching the recording, kind of take note to yourself of how many of these you resonate with. And if you're live, maybe you can pop it in the chat. But weight gain, fatigue, muscle weakness, hump of fat between the shoulders, hot flashes and or night sweats, low libido, difficulty sleeping, fertility issues, acne, hair loss, mood swings. Just thinking about how many of these signs and symptoms you maybe resonate with. And that is just potentially a sign that your hormones are a little bit out of whack. Melissa says fatigue for sure, sleep and hair issues. Yep. I know for me, when my hormones were out of whack, it was big time acne. And I actually noticed like some like muscle weakness, like muscle wasting and stuff too. So that was like a big thing for me. And the fatigue is big for sure. Okay, so when we know or we think that we have hormone imbalances, we can start to think about, oh yeah, you get more skin sensitivity too. That's interesting. We can think about the key factors that are impacting our hormones. And the biggest key factors are our liver health, our gut health, and our stress levels. Next week, we're going to dive in more deeply into our liver health and our gut health. And today we're going to talk more about our stress levels and how that actually impacts our health. So when we talk about this topic, I'm super passionate about it because I spent so many years, like 17 years on birth control. It's like pathetic to admit. And when I got off of birth control, my body was like, holy crap, what's happening? And my hormones were a hot mess. My testosterone was 4 times the levels it should be. It was just really challenging for me to get everything back in order. And as I did, I really started to understand what was going on in our hormones and our body. I started to do a lot of research and look into this. And as I understood more, I wanted to share more with people. Then the culmination of this for me was when I miscarried a year ago. I miscarried just over a year ago. And I was like, what am I missing in hormone levels? And this stress levels part was where I really dove in. And it led me down more of the rabbit hole of the liver and the gut health and how it all correlates. So I'm excited for you guys to watch this week and next week and kind of see how they align with each other. So if you have these signs of high stress hormones, this means you have high levels of like adrenaline and cortisol in your system on a regular basis. So you might notice more of the weight gain, inability to lose weight, acne, fatigue, irritability, high blood pressure, headaches, poor immune function. So there are a lot that are very similar to us having high or unhealthy hormone balancing, but this specific is I have high levels of those stress hormones, right? So Melissa says, yep, I feel it. And I know one thing I want to commend you for, Melissa, is your focus right now has been, what can I do in all areas of my life to manage my stress better, right? Because stress is, we are the only ones that have power over our stress, right? We are the ones that can change our situation or change our behaviors within a situation to make a big difference. So high stress hormones can lead to all of these symptoms, right? So let's talk about how this works. So in our brain, we have this little gland called our pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland releases ACTH. Okay, this ACTH, when released, triggers the adrenal gland. So these are your kidneys. So your kidneys are on that space in your back between your rib cage and your pelvis. And on top of them sits the adrenal glands. When they get triggered by ACTH, they release cortisol and adrenaline, and they go into the bloodstream. Now, what happens when this cycle happens and that adrenaline and cortisol get released, we have a few different processes that happen. The liver converts glycogen to glucose. Basically, what it's doing is it's taking our stores of energy and saying, we need more energy. We're in a crisis. The lion is chasing us. We need to, convert and create more energy. So the liver does that. It increases our blood pressure, increases our sweating. You guys know when you get scared or anxious or overwhelmed, like your armpits sweat and your face sweats and you're like, oh my God, what's happening? Your breathing increases. You might notice your breath is shorter, more shallow, and faster. Your heart rate accelerates. You get tunnel vision. So you get like very focused vision. This is kind of a cool trick, and we'll talk about it a little more later too, but I think this is really cool. And I learned this from my husband, and I don't remember who he learned it from, but it blew my mind. So when we're in that tunnel vision, sympathetic nervous system firing, and we're stressed, we are looking ahead, right? We're turning our body with our head. We're like, what's happening? Like, I'm ready to attack. I'm ready for disaster, right? One of the simplest things you can do when you're under a lot of stress and you need to like come down from that like high, like somebody pisses you off or you get really overwhelmed and you feel like everything escalate, you can actually turn your head to the side, close your eyes and breathe deep. And what you're doing is you're telling your nervous system, oh, well, she must be safe. She just turned her head to the side and she closed her eyes. So she feels safe. So we can shut it down. We can settle down. So it's really fascinating. So if you feel that like anxiety well up and then you just turn your head to the side, it helps if you like take a few deep breaths with one of the essential oils. It's really calming, but turning your head to the side and closing your eyes will actually tell your brain, I'm not in a crisis. I'm not in an emergency. That's pretty fascinating, right? That's kind of a cool trick. We do it with our patients when they come in like really overwhelmed. We lay them down, we turn their head to the side, we have them close their eyes and breathe in lavender or balance. And then we're like, okay, let's start over. Now we're feeling better. The other thing that happens when we have high levels of cortisol and adrenaline is our digestion slows down. This is why we have issues a lot with our weight. We get constipation, other things like that when we're under those high levels of stress, because the digestive system actually slows down and works less, right? Melissa says she's going to remember that trick. It works real good. It's a good one. Melody says that too. Okay. So this is kind of what we want to remember, what happens in the body. So the other thing that the body does, so we're going through this process and the body's like, the lion is chasing us. Now, the body, when it's constantly in a state of stress, runs out of cortisol. Okay. So it actually runs out of cortisol. We're going to focus on this side over here. We'll talk about this just a little bit, but we're going to focus on this side. When it runs out of cortisol, the body says, crap, we need more cortisol. Hurry up, create cortisol. And what it does is it actually takes your progesterone and converts it into cortisol. And this is a much fancier, complex scientific process. But basically, when we maintain high levels of cortisol for long periods of time, the body begins to drain our progesterone levels to create more cortisol. Does that make sense? Okay. So the DHEA, this actually, so if you, the DHEA isn't on there. I thought it was for a second, but this will create more estrogen and testosterone. This is really where I want you to focus. This is the important part right now. So now, why does low progesterone matter? Well, you see, this is a rabbit hole I went down when I miscarried. So when I miscarried, we had just opened our brand new clinic. We were under high levels of stress. I was completely overwhelmed. And my progesterone must have been tanking because of all that stress, right? So progesterone, when it's low, leads to insomnia and restless sleep, estrogen dominance, which we'll talk about next week a little more of why estrogen dominance is so not a good thing and what we want to do about it. Fertility and menstrual problems, recurrent miscarriages. Progesterone is a necessity to sustain a healthy pregnancy. So if you're under a large amount of stress when you first get pregnant, your body will not sustain that pregnancy. High anxiety, low mood, weight gain, cellulite, fluid retention, brain fog, saggy skin, thyroid issues, hot flashes, night sweats, facial hair growth, hair loss, osteoporosis, low libido. Anybody relate to any of these? Yeah. Okay. So before we even talk about anything else, we're going to talk about how we can manage our stress yeah, block your time, meditate daily, yada, yada, go outside, ground yourself, do all those things. Got it. Cool. But what can we do with our essential oils to help us? There's some really amazing things we can do to manage our stress. So you both know that are on live. Smelling essential oils is amazing and can drastically change our mood, right? When you smell something, the aromatic compounds stimulate cells in the olfactory membrane, which sends signals through the olfactory bulb, which is part of the limbic system of the brain. The amygdala processes emotions, and the hippocampus is responsible for associative learning. Through conditioned response, your brain learns to associate smells with feelings. It's no wonder aromatic substances are so good at bringing back memories. So we can train our brain to associate a specific smell with a calm state. So for instance, breathe and serenity, when my brain smells that, it says, oh, it's bedtime. I don't care what time it is. I don't care what time zone I'm in. I can go to sleep when I smell that, right? So what aroma do you want to train your brain to be your calm state, your calm aroma, right? And pick one and be super consistent with it so that, in the beginning, you might have to close your eyes, turn your head, lift, like put your legs up, really get into a calming state. And that would be something you have to kind of like work harder in the beginning to train yourself. And then eventually you can just take that oil, close your eyes for a second, smell it, and be like, drop into that calm state. Does that make sense? Melissa says adaptive has been mine. Yeah, adaptive is like definitely right there, up there for me, and like one of the oils I go to. It's super important. Oh, Melody says serenity. Yes, such a good one. Okay, so these are some of the oils I love and recommend for this. Breathe, balance, adaptive, lavender, serenity is a great one. I use serenity a lot for that too. Balance too. Yep. According to the American Institute of Stress, the #1 stress reducer is to breathe, right? And I love the 4x4x4x4 breathing method. So this is where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, called box breathing. So you're just going to breathe in that cycle. You're going to maybe add the head turn. You're going to maybe close the eyes. You're going to add in the oil, and you're going to have that be your calming state for the beginning. And hey, buddy. And then when you get the brain trained enough, you then don't have to do like everything. You can kind of do like 1 or 2 rounds of the 4x4x4x4 breath with the oil. Does that make sense? Okay. Another thing we can do right away that can help with our stress levels and specifically our progesterone to cortisol draining. Grapefruit oil. I have no idea why, but I learned this from the Essential Midwife, who's what I'm like blanking on. Oh my goodness. I'm like friends with her. I can't think of her name right now. Stephanie Fritz. Thank you. I actually have to text her. I'm a bad friend. So I have to message her, but she really helped me understand more of what was going on after I miscarried. And what she said that she recommends for all women who are having low progesterone issues is to take a capsule of veggie cap and put 10 drops of grapefruit in it and take that in the morning. For some reason, grapefruit oil stops the drain of progesterone from cortisol. So it stops that. You remember that cycle I talked about where the progesterone gets drained and converted into cortisol? Grapefruit oil is going to stop that from happening. So what you do, and 10 drops seems like a lot, you're going to go through a lot of grapefruit, but when you're really trying to work through, like for my whole first trimester of my pregnancy, my second pregnancy with baby Shay, I did this. I took 10 drops of grapefruit oil and I put in a capsule and I took it to make sure that my progesterone levels stayed strong. So if you're struggling with progesterone levels, a way to start is adding grapefruit to your water throughout the day. If you really want to hit it hard, you want to do the 10 drops of grapefruit oil in a veggie cap and take that every morning. Does that make sense?
And if you think about it, 10 or 50 drops in those bottles, I think it's about, you'll get just under a month for a full bottle if you did that. If you just did the 10 drops and didn't add any extra.
Yeah, and that's really reasonable considering it's like what I mean, I don't remember how much grapefruit. It's like $18 or something.
It's not that much. I can look it up.
Okay.
Phil said it helps the enzyme levels in your gut or something. He just said it walking by.
Your husband?
Yeah, he said something about it
Dude,
dropping.
your husband? His brain. I like his brain. He has
Yeah.
random facts that are just so cool.
Yeah, I don't know why. Come up progesterone.
It helps to support healthy progesterone levels by stopping the body of draining progesterone and turning it into cortisol.
Yes, he's saying yeah. He knows all about the body, Jen.
So
Trust me.
he's saying it also helps with what in the gut? Enzymes?
What else does it help, Phil? It blocks an enzyme in your gut. He doesn't remember off the top of his head, but he's gonna think and tell me. It blocks
Okay.
it
Yeah, fill
in
us
your
in on that when he remembers. That's cool.
right. Fill it in. Look it up, Phil. Google it.
And I
Okay.
looked it up. It's $20
$20. So
wholesale.
$20 a month to keep your progesterone levels healthy and high. That's pretty reasonable, right? And this is definitely something the majority of women struggle with. So, okay. So we have those two things that we can add in that are very simple to support our stress levels, right? You don't need me to tell you to go meditate and go to yoga and journal and be grateful and all those things. You've heard them all 9 million times. But those are some simple things that we can add in that take literally like 30 seconds extra in our day. Breathe deep when you need it. Breathe in an oil, turn your head to the side, close your eyes, add in the grapefruit oil. There are some other really amazing products from doTERRA to support healthy hormone levels that I want to show you. And that is the women's health line. So we have the phytoestrogen. And this, okay, so let me read this to you. Since many functions in the women's body are controlled by hormones, there is a crucial need for balanced hormone levels. For this reason, doTERRA has created phytoestrogen lifetime complex for women, which naturally supports hormone balance and promotes a healthy metabolism. You can take this to balance your hormones, support healthy cycles, bone health, brain health, breast health. It doesn't have estrogen in it. People get really confused about that. There's no estrogen in this. What it's doing is it's actually helping to take the phytoestrogens, the false estrogens that are coming from the hormones in meats and plastics and things like that, and flush them out of your system. So if you have an estrogen dominance or a high estrogen level, or you're just struggle with your hormone balance, this is a great thing to add in. And it actually helps to balance about 5 to 7 different hormones, can help big time with hot flashes and night sweats and things like that. Now, when you couple that with bone nutrient complex, it's actually going to support over 20 hormones and healthy levels. So I take both of these every day. I took both of these every day through my pregnancy. There's a lot of magnesium in these. So I love taking these before bed to help just calm the mind and make sure I get really good sleep. So again, great for bone health, but also great for overall hormone balancing, right? So you can see it has 100% of recommended daily amounts of calcium and magnesium, contains D2 and D3, really powerful supplement. And I think it's like $14. It is one of the cheaper supplements doTERRA has. And I take one every morning and 2 every evening with dinner. That's kind of my jam with it. And then lastly, part of the women's health line is the Clary Calm. This is a blend of some pretty incredible oils, but it can be used during your menstrual cycle, apply to your abdomen to help with cramps, but also it can help with hormone balancing. So I use this throughout my entire pregnancy. And then after my pregnancy with the phytoestrogen and the bone nutrient complex, just to make sure my hormone levels stayed nice and healthy and balanced. So if you're looking specifically to target those hormone levels, adding in this women's health line is a great option. Definitely recommend working through the breathing and things like that for the stress. That'll be key for you. So that's your women's health line. And we're going to carry on this conversation next week, because next week is actually my true favorite part of this, where I explain to you the secret to healthy hormones, which is liver and gut health. So we're going to break down those 2 components and how they actually tie into your hormones, and how that's kind of the missing piece that I think most of us forget and fail to address when we're trying to balance our hormones. So I'll open it up to questions from you guys before I go through the next couple slides. Let me just power through these slides and then we'll do questions. So May, citronella is still 10% off. You can still get Copaiba soft gels and oil for free if you do a 200 PV order. You can still get the Midnight Forest oil and bath scrubber. I've been using the new face moisturizer every morning in Puerto Vallarta, and I've been loving it. My face hasn't burned at all. I'm still waiting on, and it's really light. It's not like, I don't feel like it's leaving like any like grime on my skin or anything like that. Still waiting on the release date of the Rose Duo. So hopefully that'll come out soon. And don't forget about your refer a friend program. Melody, you can find this refer a friend link when you log into your doTERRA account. It'll pop up. You can grab that. If you ever have friends that want to buy an essential oil or anything, literally just share that link. You don't have to do anything else. And then just let me know if you share that with anybody so I can help them. And you'll get 20% back on everything they order in that first order. So if they spend $100 on doTERRA oils, you'll get $20 to use towards your next order. So kind of cool that you get that option. There's no business about it, no social security number to be put in, nothing to worry about, nothing to report to the IRS. Like they'll only let you make so much. So it's like kind of cool to just share with your friends and get 20% off that first order. So you can spend it on future orders. And if you guys didn't see this yet, we have the stock up for summer BOGO sale. So this is one of my faves. I use this on my tattoos, the face and body stick. It's just really easy to put on. So when you buy the face and body stick, starting tomorrow through Saturday, you get the after sun spray for free. The after sun spray works magic. I wish I had it with me in Puerto Vallarta, but we only carried on bags because my husband got sunburned. And when he got sunburned like 2 weeks ago, we put it on him and his sunburn was gone by the next day. And usually it takes 4 days for his sunburn to be gone. So this is awesome. You get this for free. You also have the body spray. I really like this as well. It's just really nice and smooth. It's non-aerosol. It's amazing, the sunblock. And then you get the after sun spray for free. So this starts tomorrow. And then you guys all have your accounts, but if you're watching the recording, there's 3 ways you can buy. You can buy retail price, wholesale, or one of the enrollment kits. Whether you're doing wholesale or an enrollment kit, you're getting 25% off the entire website. There's no auto renewal. You get, all kinds of amazing perks. And let me just show you we're going to talk about liver and gut more next time, but this is what I recommend for overall hormone balancing. It's the Healthy Habits Kit with the Zendocrine products added on. So that's where I recommend starting. So you're going to be using these oils to manage your stress. You have balance and lavender and frankincense in there, even tangerine. And then you can, so we'll talk about next week how you can use all these products to help balance your hormones. But you can add on the Women's Health line if that resonates with you, or you can add on the grapefruit and the veggie caps if that resonates with you. So just something to think about. And then, we have all of these benefits when you get started with us. And you guys have seen that before. So let me do this. Nope, hold on. I always do this wrong. Let me do this. And then what questions do y'all have on what we covered today?
Those veggie caps, I just caught my eye. Are they do you ever see the Balance Nature vitamins that are on TV all the time, the veggie and the fruit? And
yeah, I have seen them. Yeah.
Okay, so I contemplated on even getting them. So those veggie ones that you guys sell, is that I definitely don't get all my vegetables. I should do. I used to make vegetables every night. I don't at all now, once in a while. And I love them. I'm just lazy about cooking.
Your lifelong vitality pack is going to cover your fruits and veggies that you.
I'm not getting that. I'm going to do the collagen.
Yeah, you're going to do the collagen. So, I mean, I don't eat many vegetables. I eat a salad here and there. A couple nights a week, I just eat steak for dinner. Okay. So
I just had a chicken sandwich. I get organic chicken, and I just because we eat chicken so much, I always try to do something different. So we did the chicken, and then we put lettuce, and I made a sandwich, and it was freaking amazing. But I'm never a vegetable. So I
don't stress too much about it.
Do you do your greens every day still though, Jen?
No, I probably
No.
should.
I know I'm hit or miss. I've been better with the fiber. Like actually some people are recommending even doing fiber in the morning first thing mixed with the MetaPower.
Yeah, I have a whole bag of it.
Ooh,
So I've been doing that.
that's a
What'd you
good
mix it with?
idea.
What'd you mix it with,
The
Melissa?
fiber,
With the collagen.
Yeah, with the collagen.
Oh,
Hmm
I'm gonna
oh.
stop the recording.